And today we're going to talk about all the way from chapters 10 to 17 in The Masterpiece by Eliza Roach. This is one of the most amazing books in the world, and now we can talk about these chapters. Let's go right in. Okay, chapter 10, The Woman and the Sword. I thought that The Woman and the Sword sounded pretty cool and epic, so I'm really excited. Okay, did you think that title was pretty cool, or did you only think, oh, it's only the title of an art piece or something? What did you think about that? Me, I thought that it was just really cool. So, now, James is going along with Christina, and what did you think that they were gonna find there? Did you think that they were gonna find a painting or something even more exciting than that? And did you think that Marvin was also going to get found under James's collar, or do you think that he's somehow going to escape or at least not be found? Or do you think that he's gonna fall off and be lost in the museum? There's all the possibilities, right? Anything can happen. So, did you think that if you had been Carl, do you think that you would have allowed this or not? I think that I would have allowed it because it is a museum employee, and I think that it would be really cool for me and also for my son, if I had a son and if I was Carl, to visit. So I think that I would have agreed. And have you ever went or heard to the Getty? I have gone to the Getty before. So far I like the San Diego Art Museum better than the Getty, though. Though I only went once, and back then I was pretty young, so I didn't really have the full impression of the Getty. But still, I like the San Diego Art Museum better for some reason. I just like Balboa Park. It's just really cool, Balboa Park. Now, of course, we don't actually get to see Justice, right? We can only hear the description, but how did you think of the description? And when you just imagined it, did you imagine something amazing or something terrible and bad and like really like a double thumbs down bad? Me, I imagined something really, really beautiful, and I thought that, yeah, the thing I was imagining was really beautiful in my mind. So what is one skill do you think that the author has in her writing? And also, so far, what was your favorite picture? Because we do have some pictures now. You know, there's two drawers. There's Marvin's picture, and finally, there is actually also a. Let's see. Now I want to get the exact name for it. So 1 sec. I think that it was. Okay, this is miserable because I can't even find out who it is. Yes. Giovanni Bellini. That was the guy. So Giovanni Bellini's paintings. So what was your favorite so far? And now, why do you think that Christina wanted to show James this? I mean, yeah, it's cool and all, but why do you think that what do you think that the reason was? I thought that maybe it had to do something with that painting, maybe a problem with that painting, or maybe, right? That might have happened, some problem with the painting. And so we still don't know what has happened, right? Why James was called. So we can figure that out. Okay. And then that was just when we realized that James needed to copy something, right? And now, did you ever think that anybody could trace Duro's lines? Or do you think that would be really just impossible? It's like double thumbs down, like impossible. Nobody could be as good. What do you think? Well, I think it's possible, but only because there's already a guideline. Nobody could just do it. Only Duro. He's the only one who could have thought of it and painted it. And anybody else who does the same thing, in my opinion, I think that is just lines. It suddenly turns into lines if somebody just copies and forges it, okay? And even though nobody knows, it just doesn't have the same effect at times. It's just lines. And then Christina saw Marvin. And it ended with this. Then she gasped, "Oh my goodness, a bug!" What did you think was going to happen to Marvin? Squashed. Thrown. He's gonna fly through a window. Marvin is going to jump on himself. Christina is going to swat Marvin. Something like that. And did you think that Marvin was gonna survive? Probably, because look at all this. We can't just finish Marvin. We can't just go on without Marvin. That's gonna be sad. And besides, he's one of the main characters. Chapter 11, Left Behind. What do you think was left behind here? Uh-oh. Marvin was left behind, right? But what do you think is going to happen to Marvin? And how do you think that Marvin's family is going to respond to this? Do you think it's going to be like the last straw? Probably, right? And do you think that now Marvin is going to be safe? Now, of course, James was seem pretty weird to some other people, right? Like Christina and Carl. But, of course, we know what is happening. And if you had been James, would you have also been worried, or would you have just waited and you would just, be calm and okay with it? How would you feel about that? Okay. And did you really think that Marvin was going to get left behind? And if so, do you think that Marvin is going to be okay here, or do you think that he's gonna die? And what do you think here? Yeah, do you really think that he's going to die? Okay, so we actually do see a picture of Justice here. What did you think of the picture? And did you imagine it more beautiful, or did you imagine it like that exactly, or did you imagine it more ugly and you were just surprised how beautiful it was? I just imagined about that much. So yeah, I was pretty impressed about that. And if you had been James, would you have really gone away, or would you have really stuck to the room and found Marvin? No matter what, you would have just kept on searching for Marvin until you found Marvin, or do you think that you would have just left him, Marvin, and just thinking, well, maybe I'll find him next time? Me, I would have wanted to find Marvin, but if all the adults would want to go, then I would have to go. But still, I would really, really try to find Marvin as soon as possible. And again, how do you think that Marvin is going to fare here? A night at the Metropolitan Museum, right? Do you think that a beetle like him can survive? Yeah, he's a bug, so there's a bigger chance that he might, survive and prosper more than the regular human. Okay, chapter 12 in Christina's office, okay? So he was really just looking at the painting, right? And I have a question. How would it feel if you were in a museum? Okay? If you're in a museum for a night. Now I know that we are all humans, and of course beetles, they couldn't like really go around viewing all the art, but if you were a human and you were in the museum, what would you do? Me, I would look at all the art. It will be so calm and peaceful being just being in the museum all alone. But here's the thing. It will be a little creepy, right? Everything is just so dark. There's like no lights and I one time seen like this lots of drawing, and then this drawing was really, really, really creepy. It was like of a monster. And even though I was in a room full of people, I still was like, wow, And if I had to meet that now, I don't think that I could have really handled it, I don't think I could have done that. So really, it would be pretty cool, but at the same time, it would be very creepy. Now, 12, in Christina's office. Were you really surprised that Marvin lasted a night in the Met? I was actually surprised that he wasn't found in that night. And I was also pretty surprised that he wasn't killed in the first place. So I really liked that Marvin was safe. Now, if you had been Marvin, would you have been really, really super worried? And would you be like, I'm never going to get home? And would you be hysterical? Or would you just sort of be calm and cool? Or would you just be like Marvin? Like, how would you feel? I would be very, very nervous and maybe a little sad. But at the same time, I would try to gather my wits up, and I wouldn't be like, being hysterical. Mostly, I would just try to find a way out, even though I would be really sad and sort of panic too. And have you ever looked at something in another thing or person's point of view? And if so, how do you feel when you do that? Well, you know how, so Marvin looked out the window and he saw all those small people, and he thought, this must be what beetles look like to humans. So one time there was a simulator where I was on a plane and I was flying it. Well, that I was in the flyer's eyes, and man, did I feel sorry for the pilots. First of all, we crashed into the ocean. My friend was also there. We crashed into the ocean about 10 times. We crashed into the ground about 100 times, and like at other times, like there were all these enemy planes. We never shot down one of them. Instead, we couldn't really, because we were too busy not crashing. But yeah, several times we will crash into the water and then we will be dead. In virtual reality. So pretty disappointing, and I also have to say, like, man, those pilots, they had a hard time. So yeah, I do feel really sorry for them. And then so I wanted to say, when you're not really expecting it, and somebody just takes a picture of you, do you think that time really just shows you like the unnoticed or not well known, or sort of like the deep parts of you when you don't know it? Like, do you think that those moments or pictures really show you that? Yeah, I really do think that when you're not expecting it, those things sort of just flow out in a way, like of the picture of Christina. And what do you think that Marvin is going to eat anyway? I think that he's probably going to find like a few crumbs, but who knows? So he got several breadcrumbs, right? Now, do you think that you would really like to eat stuff like that? Or what's your style of eating? And do you like eating crumbs from the floor, even if they are strawberry Pop-Tarts? And then James and Carl comes back to the Met that day, which I thought was awesome. Did you think that Marvin was going to be found then, or do you think that Marvin is just going to be in the museum for a super duper long time, What do you think? Now, so James was feeling really unconfident, and if you had been James, would you have felt confident? Not at all. I would be panicking because I knew that I wouldn't be able to draw. And that would be pretty terrible, right? And so, also, why do you think that James wanted to come back to the museum in the first place? Probably to find Marvin, right? Not to draw, really, but to find Marvin. Because he needs to find Marvin, or else, it really isn't going to work out, right? And, he can't be able to draw. So in a way, he's come to draw. But first to look for Marvin, and after that, he can draw. Well, he's not drawing, but Marvin's drawing. But so it'll look like he's drawing. So it's like, in a way, he's gonna draw. He's gonna make that painting by searching for Marvin. Because when Marvin's found, then the painting is made. It's sort of complicated, but at the same time, I think that you can all figure out what I'm saying here. Okay. And do you think that James is now saved because Marvin's here? And have you ever felt that you've been saved before? And if so, what do you think has saved you? I think that just luck and fate has saved me whenever that happens. Now, 13, to copy a copy. Okay, that sounds interesting, right? Now, so Marvin begins to draw, right? And did you think that Marvin was actually going to be able to succeed in this? Or did you think that he was just going to do a really bad job and it just totally wasn't going to work out at all? Or did you think that it was going to work awesomely and it was going to be great? I think that Marvin, since his talent with drawing is so great, I think that he can really do a good job. And look at this. There's Marvin. And look at the picture he's drawing. That's really cool, right? He's already drawing a little. And it looks exactly like it, right? So I thought that was really cool and amazing. And I thought that, yeah, it was going to look exactly the same. And, wait, sorry, page is turning is hard. Page turning. And now, if you had been those adults, would you have been so surprised? Would you have been surprised, or would you have just, how would you have felt about the whole thing? And please use a simile. And how do you think that James and Marvin felt about the whole thing? James and Marvin, I felt as if I was free, I was flying, right? You'd be so happy, you'll feel like you're flying or floating, right? So maybe I think that's why. Now, we finally realize why fortitude, why Christina needs fortitude, because it's about to be stolen. Now, when you just heard that, what did you feel? How did you feel about that sentence? And did you really understand? Yeah, maybe, no, I don't, I mean, no. I sort of thought, I think that the closest I can get to from right then is like, maybe, painting, and maybe someone was trying to steal it. So why would they need a forgery? To maybe trick some people, right? It might be I don't know who it is so far, but to trick the robber. And then the robber isn't going to know about that, and so maybe he's going to take a forgery. And then again, it might be totally different. Maybe the robber maybe the robber really takes the real painting, but then, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to really happen, but I know it's maybe something about the art theft, right? And then, chapter 14, stealing virtue. And that's when we really find out what is going to happen. Okay, now if you had been Denny and Carl, how would you have responded? At me, I would just do the same thing. What? That would have been what I would have cried out. And Denny and Carl actually do the same thing here. Now, we sort of begin to get everything into piece, right? So, you know about art heists, right? Like many people have stolen art. And before we keep on going more into Christina's plan, how do you feel about art heists? And do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Totally a bad thing. And I think that art is free to everybody. I'm really passionate about art, and there is an art museum near me, so I really like art. And I always really like art because it's for everybody, and it's just really amazing and beautiful, right? At least to me. And I think that it would be terrible if suddenly that art was just gone, stolen by somebody. So I think that, yeah, it is just really unfair. Why do you think that those art people, like, do you think that the people who steal art, why do you think that they would steal art? And what are the reasons that you steal art? Now, I'm not saying that you would steal art. You guys, I know that you guys are really nice people, and I know that you guys wouldn't do anything, okay? But I just wanted to still question you, like, if you were evil, a criminal mastermind, why would you steal art? My reasons for stealing all the money, it would be to just view the art and have the art. But I really think that I could just look at it in an art gallery, and I think that I wouldn't do that at all. Like, I could just look at it in an art gallery. Why steal it? I wouldn't do that at all. But anyway, now everything has been taken, like all the virtues except for one, right? And how did you feel about that? That everything was being stolen? And if you had been James and Marvin, yeah, like, how would you felt about this? And do you think that this is too big of a job for a beetle and a boy? Or do you think that this is a perfect job for a beetle and a boy? What did you think? Or do you think that Christina is just really putting too much pressure on them? What did you think about that? And do you think that all the virtues are going to get found? Or do you think that only justice is going to get found? Or do you think that none of the virtues are going to get found? What do you think they are? Dun dun dun! Now, chapter 15, Hitching a Ride. So, if you had been James, would you have been really nervous about the fact that he was going to have to uncover one of the most, a serious art heist? Would you have been, and if you had been James, yeah, would you have been nervous or scared or would you have felt happy about the whole thing? And do you think that Marvin and James are good companions? And why do you think that the author put them together like that? Why do you think that they are friends? Why do you think that Marvin, if he could talk to James, how do you think that the book would be different? Well, I think that the bug and the beetle, the beetle and the boy, because that's just a really interesting combination. Plus, they can't understand each other, but at the same time, there's sort of a theme that friendship can be anywhere, right? Even with a beetle and a boy, friendship can be anywhere. And with the power of friendship, you can understand each other. And also, it's just really fun to sort of like decode the messages that Marvin is sending him, and seeing if James can also decode it, right? So it's a really cool relationship, in my opinion, which is why I think that the author chose to do this. Did you think that James's life is getting any better here or not? I think that his life is getting better, because the thing is, he's now all the Mrs. Pumpkin is also paying more attention, right? Which is something that every child needs. Like, I don't mean like tons and tons and tons of attention, but they should have some attention, right? And I think that James is getting the attention that he needs, because before he didn't have any attention at all. And do you think that James's life is better, or do you think it's worse now? And how do you think that Marvin's family is going to respond to everything? And really, chapter 16's title sort of gives us sort of an answer. Too risky. Who do you think is saying that it's too risky? What is too risky, and to whom? To Marvin. Going to the museum with James, risky. And probably Marvin's family saying it. Do you think that Marvin is going to get in big trouble, or do you think just minor trouble? I think that he's going to get in some big trouble here. Okay, chapter 16. Now, it seems like the Beatles, they aren't that, you James, you're a criminal. They aren't like that, so they aren't that totally mean, but at the same time, they are pretty ticked off about it. And so, do you think that if you had been Marvin and James's parents, would you? Wait, not Marvin and James. I meant Marvin himself. So really, do you think that Marvin here, if you had been Marvin's parents, do you think that you would have accepted this, and what would you have done to Marvin? Me, I would have just given him a good talking to and just made sure that he wasn't going to stray from home. Though I would understand why he would want to go still, like, seriously. We must think of how dangerous it is. I know lots of people who squish beetles. James really, I mean, Marvin might actually have even died. It's just that Marvin was really lucky. That was all. And so there was a lot of food for Marvin, right? And so he was eating all that. Here's actually what they got. Tiny steaming broccoli florets, 2 cubes of cheddar, crispy brown chicken skin, lemon rind, crushed potato chip, cherry lifesavers. Not bad, really. What did you think about all that? And what's maybe another thing that we can learn from that? One man's trash is another man's treasure. That's one thing I can learn from that. And did you think that Marvin's family is going to prohibit him from going outside and really going along with James, or not? But do you think that Marvin's going to listen? I don't think that he really is going to listen a lot. And now, did you think that the world is going to work out how, like, James was thinking the world was going to work out, like, or do you think that something totally unexpected is going to happen to both James and his family and Marvin? What do you think about that? Do you think it's all going to be okay here? And what do you think that solarium is? The solarium. And do you really think that it is too risky for Marvin to go out? Well, it is risky, but if it's needed, he needs to go out. But still, yeah, it is too risky at times. And and who do you agree with? Mama and Papa or Marvin? With Marvin, because Marvin really does need to go out there, because the adventures are amazing and so fun to read about, right? And what will James do if Marvin isn't there? So yeah, I really think that it is really important for Marvin to go out, even if it is too risky. Okay, chapter 17 in the solarium. So we're now, this is, I thought, was a pretty fun chapter. So let's just dive right in. And you're actually going to see some mentions of diving here. Now, what's your like description, your definition of adventure? Now, they were going to the solarium, right? Would you consider that a vacation? to the Beatles, it would be like an adventure, right? It would be exploring, and it would be awesome and amazing and really fun. And what would you do if you had been Marvin and Elaine? What would you have wanted to do? Me, I would have wanted to go down the slide. I would have wanted to swim. I would have also wanted to eat plants, and I would want to explore through the jungles and go out in the sun. All of those things I would want to do. And do you think that it's really fun to just think about all the Beatles playing like this? And yeah, did you really think that? And then, do you think that the turtle aquarium is a very good idea? It's definitely not a good idea at all. I didn't like Elaine's thinking. Did you think that something was gonna happen to them? And here's what happened. Elaine was nowhere to be seen. I'm reading right now, okay? The last part. Elaine! Marvin shouted. Maybe when the turtle rammed the glass, she'd fallen over backward too. He clung to the glass and looked around, scanning the round, furry leaves and violets, the pale orchid blossoms. Elaine, where are you? Still no response. Marvin, increasingly frantic, climbed further up the side of the aquarium for a better view. Elaine! Then he saw her. She was floating on her back in the water below, perfectly still, while the turtle dove and surfaced nearby. What do you think that the turtle is going to do? Turtles actually eat bugs, and I think that the turtle thought that it was food. And in the wild nature, it is food, but that's Elaine. Do you think that Elaine is going to die? Or do you think that Marvin is going to do something to save her? I think that Marvin's going to do something to save her, but if so, how? And if you had been Marvin and you were seeing that, do you think that you would have had the strength to do anything, or would you just be petrified? But do you think that everything is going to be okay? And do you think that both of them are going to survive this incident or not? Da-da-da-da! Well, we're done for today's chapters. We've actually done a lot today, so much. And I'm going to ask a few last questions. What was your favorite part in these chapters, and what was your favorite part in the whole book so far? My favorite part, when Marvin was tracing that picture of, I think it was Justice, I thought that was just really amazing how well he was drawing. And then after that also, really, now I'm forgetting. Oh yes, what I wanted to say was after that, what was your favorite part in the whole book? Well, that's hard, but I think I'm gonna choose when they were at the solarium. I mean, at the end it was scary, but at the same time it was just really fun to see the Beatles playing. I thought that was just so funny. So that was my favorite part too. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, what was your favorite? No, I didn't say favorite 2 times. What was your favorite character and your least favorite character? My favorite character has to be Marvin James, and my least favorite character, the guy who stole all the paintings, and Mrs. Pompadey and Mr. Pompadey, and yeah, so those are my character lists. And now, my favorite question of the day: how did you like the book so far? You know why? You get to review, you can think, and then you say you like it. Well, that isn't, you say you like it isn't needed, but it's good when I hear that, because then I know that you liked it. And I always like it when people like it, the book. So I hope that you really love this book so far. For predictions, this time you make your predictions. I have said a lot of predictions, and I think that today I'm not going to say a lot of predictions, but only 5. Do you think that Marvin is going to save Elaine? Do you think that Elaine is going to die? Do you think that that the art heist is going to get uncovered? How many paintings do you think that James is going to find? And finally, do you think that Marvin is going to have to spend another night at the museum, or another night somewhere else? And if so, how do you think that Marvin's family is going to react? And then the rest you can make. If you don't want to them, it's okay, but it's pretty cool when you make them. I hope that you had a great time with me with Masterpiece, and well, yeah, have a great rest of your day or night. Bye, and keep on reading.